come. I'm going to.
Here, you have to ask yourself, how can we incorporate the existing buildings and architecture? How can we find a use that serves the West Side, that serves the Crossroads, that serves the Performing Arts Center?
That opens up a lot of other different kinds of possibilities to do with the site, and probably enhances the prominence of whatever is going to be done there. Has just a different level of feel and interest, and honestly new interested parties. So before you had neighborhood interests and maybe your own interests, now you have people who have invested $400 million across the street in a real iconic, really important way, who are also interested in what happens across the street.
So whatever is there is designed to generate revenue for the Performing Arts Center. I certainly think that you should build something interesting there. And whatever it does, I want it to generate not only sales tax revenue that is put back into the local area, but I want it to be a service, or I think it should be a service, to the West Side, to the Crossroads, and to the Performing Arts Center. The Performing Arts Center is, in my opinion, the greatest single building put up in this city in 100 years.
I think it's a great building. I think that the way that it interfaced is the problem.
Well, I mean, there weren't a lot of neighbors to answer to at that center. There were considerations. People don't think about it. I have a building right down the street that was on 18th and Central. I like this site, but for years I felt screwed by this site because my street used to connect to downtown. I own a building that's in downtown. Will you cut me off from downtown? Well, why didn't you cut off Wyandotte Street? Shit, you know, cut off Shirley's entrance. Don't cut off mine.
Parking garage just ruins the whole thing.
Unbelievable. You're looking into the guts of it.
Yeah.
You have the most sparse spacing of trees blocking it of any part of the landscaping. It's
I was shocked.
and this is the neighborhood that we've been waiting for this interaction with our neighborhood, and they just killed it, man. Just killed it on that side.
Everything's cut off. We're no longer sitting on front porches anymore. You know, we're making enemies, based on, I think, a lot of false information. And I think there was, the prejudice against the area, the coming of the interstate that further isolated this area. And now, in the 21st century, we've got groups that are no longer, they're being eviscerated by the gentrification of the neighborhood. And I do feel like an outsider, even though I was born and bred in Kansas City.
And I even got somebody more recently that had said to me, would you even live in the neighborhood? And I thought to myself, that doesn't even matter because I grew up here and I work and live here. Like live here meaning I'm here all the time. And so when people start asking really pinpointing things like, well, you really have no say because you're not in the neighborhood, that would really make me upset. So I think there are those people that really want to be a part of the say-so or at least feel like they've been asked.
With reserve, I think density is very important, and from a financial point, it's really important. Down here, the rents don't, they don't have as much density, and so you don't get as much rent. So if you get too much density, as Dave Ford would probably tell you, guys like Dave's YJs could not stay in business, They couldn't if they had too much density because the prices would go up, the taxes would go up, the use would go up.
Rents have gone up?
Rents went up. They did the same mistakes that the art world made. It became go-go real estate, go-go finance, and go-go art. It's just not I'm looking for a realignment in the way people approach their idealisms and their sense of entitlement. That same kind of swagger we carried in our foreign policy. And it's just a swagger, man.
There's going to be a lot of immersion into real life, tangible issues How do those relate to like the board of directors of the Performing Arts Center? How do those relate to the, real estate development entity that owns the majority of the property on this block? How does this relate to regular humans?
And I think, there's that visual connection, flight, Performing Arts Center, music. You've got the ballet center that just opened. I just like for a lot of people starting out to be able to experience this renaissance in Kansas City that's happening right now. There's so much going on, between the ballet opening and the Performing Arts Center. And Power and Light, hate it or love it, it's there, and it's provided a lot for Kansas City. I mean, it's busy, and the Spritz Center.
I don't advocate for much of any development, really.
Just more people.
More kids.
Density.
Just more
kids.
people.
We've gotten a lot more kids lately, which is nice. And some of that's just the attitude of people knowing that it can be done.
I'm going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. They got some pretty little women.